Hello there, and welcome to Innovate Leader series. And I just want first to apologize for the technical challenges we've had. We were not able to transmit this discussion live because of various challenges. But we hope that in the coming weeks, next Monday, we'll be able to transmit it live. But all the same, we're here. We said let's progress with it. This is a recording, and I hope it will be of value to you in terms of enabling really spearheading the discussions that we'll have for the next 4 to 6 weeks on the subject that we are looking at. So my name is Coach Gilbert, and I'm the CEO of Ascent Leadership Group. And as Ascent Leadership Group, our key focus is really to create a movement of leaders whose power focus will far exceed the authority of their position. And we do this through coaching, we do this through training, we do this through teaching, we do this through speaking, like we are doing today in terms of forums and various spaces. And we also do this through independent research that we do on leadership and organizational effectiveness. So the next couple of weeks we'll be talking about the aspect of authentic self. We are starting the year. Everyone is psyched up with various resolutions and goals, and all of us at the back of our mind is we want to achieve our goals for this year. But critical is you cannot achieve your goals for this year if you're not authentic. If you don't understand some critical factors that then drive your authenticity as a person, because then you will not be able to give your whole self in really delivering the goals, in really driving the goals or the resolutions that you have in place. And that is the conversation that we're going to have for the next couple of weeks. So we'll start off today by looking at the aspect of authentic self, and we'll look at one factor that is very critical for you to be able to develop to become an authentic self. So one of the key things that for us to understand is for you to be able to live a life of authenticity, then there are three critical areas that you must be able to inculcate, or you must be able to understand. And these three critical areas are actually described by many other leaders in different spaces, in different ways. Like John Maxwell talks about them as a success, as what we call success in any individual encompasses those three things. Other leaders talk about significance, that you're able to understand these three things, and you'll be able to understand what's your significance on earth. So I call them, for me, I call them the triangle of authenticity, which is understanding who you are, or what we call knowing your purpose, and then sowing the seeds in others, understanding your purpose, and then now enabling also others to really understand their purpose in them by actually sowing the seed in them. And number three is actually in the process you actually grow. So there's the aspect of knowing, there's the aspect of sowing, and there's the aspect of growing in the process. And this is the gist of our discussion in the next coming weeks, in terms of then how do you understand your purpose, how do you know your purpose, how do you start sowing that seed in others, and how then do you grow in the process around it. So today we'll look at one critical area, which is your strength. For you to be able to understand your purpose, you must be able to understand your strength. And you can look at it in many ways, because if you're not operating in the area of your strength, then you will not be able to operate in the area of your authenticity. Then you'll be living a life that you want to run away from. Like many of us are actually living lives that we want to run away from, either from because of the corporate hustles or because of the business hustles. But if you look at yourself, you're living a life that you want to run away from. Why? Because you're not operating in the area of your strength. And I dare say that many of us are actually living a life operating in the areas of our weaknesses, all the way from birth, when we are being challenged that this is an area that we need to improve. If you look at our academic or our school focus is really to help us to patch on our areas of weaknesses, and that's what we've grown up to. Our circles of friends are actually just challenging us to patch the areas of our weaknesses. So we end up now living a life all through in the areas of our weaknesses without really understanding or taking time to understand what are our strengths and how then do we propagate our strengths in a way that then we start living the authentic life that we are meant to be. And I just want to share that your purpose in life is not built on your weaknesses. For you to be able to manifest, for you to be able to manifest your significance, for you to be able to know your purpose, then you must be able to understand what are your strengths. What are the key things that then define who you are? If you look at many people in the past, even from the Bible, Solomon, his strength, he actually understood his strength. And at a time when he shared the secret of his strength to Delilah, then that became his downfall, because then he stopped now possessing or working on his strength as him. If you look at Jacob, Joseph, and many other people in the Bible, you'll be able to understand, pick out that they understood their strength and they were able to operate in the areas of their strength, and that was their purpose, and that's how they manifested their significance in life. Many people, many great leaders that you can be able to name of, if you understand and research details about them, you realize that they were actually operating in the areas of their strength. So regardless of the weakness or weaknesses that you have, if you're able to understand your strength and actually use the 80-20 rule, 80% of your time you focus on your strength, then you will be able to understand your purpose. You will be able to understand your significance and manifest it in the world. And you'll be able to live a life that is authentic, a life that you want to live, and not a life that you want to run away from. But key question here is, how do you understand your strength? Because many of us, yes, they have an idea, but how do you then really pick out and say, these are my strengths? And there's a book that is called Value Factor by Dr. John DiMartini that talks about aspects of the highest values, that your highest values are your areas of strength. And it talks about 13 questions which are very critical, that if you're able to answer them, then you'll be able to pinpoint that these are my top 5 strength areas, and you start understanding how you can be able to focus on them for you to be able to start living your authentic life. And I'll just quickly run into the 13 questions. And the first one is, how do you feel your personal and professional space? How do you spend your time? How do you spend your energy? How do you spend your money? How are you most organized? What are you most reliable, or where are you most reliable? What dominates your thoughts as a person? What do you visualize most? What do you most talk to yourself about? What do you most talk to others about? What inspires you? What goals stand out in your life? And what topics do you love to study, read, or research? If you're able to just take time and have 3 answers in each of these questions, then the next step is now to really pick out the top 5 answers that actually repeat themselves. Then you start looking at your areas of strength. You start understanding that these are my areas of strength. And then now you start putting a lot of energy, you start putting a lot of your focus, your time in terms of leaving that space. Because as you leave the space of your strength, that's when you are able to understand your purpose. That's how you're able to manifest your significance on that. So I hope that this discussion has been able to really spark something in you in terms of understanding that the first critical aspect for you to be able to live an authentic life, to be able to live the life that you want to live and not a life that you want to run away from, is to understand your strength. And you can only understand your strength by looking at these 13 questions and really ask yourself, what is it that is in the area of passion, of strength to you, and how do you spend a lot of your time there? And I hope that coming into the next discussion next week, you'll be able to have stories around how you've pinpointed the areas of your strength. So I want to leave you with that and just challenge you that the first step for you to be able to start living an authentic life is to understand your strength. So thank you very much. My name is Coach Gilbert, and see you next Monday for the next discussion on Innovate Leader Series. And I hope that the whole conversations that we'll have over time will be able to challenge you to manifest your significance and actually fuel your growth. Thank you very much, and God bless you, and see you in the next episode next week.